Hello everyone, today we'll be reviewing Hurricane Debby and the severe weather threat with it as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first off, here's Hurricane Debby producing a large area of tropical storm winds in that orange color, and then that area that it's producing hurricane winds in that reddish color. So here's its wind history. You can see this little red area right there is where it's producing hurricane winds. But next, let's look at the wind speed probabilities. So this is for right now. So if you're in this purple area, that's a 100% chance, basically, of seeing tropical storm winds or higher. But if you are in this maybe this yellow area right there, that's only a 30 to 40% chance. But if you aren't in the red here, that's about a 70% chance to see tropical storm force winds. So let's take a look at our hurricane wind speed probability. So here it is right there. Sorry about that. Here it is right there. Not a large area of a 90 to 100% chance, but a fairly small area. But there is a larger area where you could see some hurricane force wind gusts. That's about a 40% to 50% chance right along the coast here. But next up, let's take a look at our rainfall map. Charleston almost down to Savannah, you could see 20 plus inches of rain. But I know I was looking at the advisories earlier, excuse me, and this 16 to 20 inch rain area, the National Weather Service is saying that there could be a localized area all the way up to 30 inches. So it's going to be a wild risk for flooding. But next up is the storm surge. It could be an area of 2 to 4 feet of storm surge along the Georgia and South Carolina coast. But in the Florida coast, there's an area where there could be 6 to 10 feet of storm surge. So also very bad threat for storm surge. But next is the flash flooding potential. There's a high risk of flash flooding. But we'll look at this even better here in just a second. But I do want to take a look at Debby right now. So this is the satellite view, and here she is. Just made a landfall about an hour ago. She is a 75 mile per hour Category 1 hurricane, and then this is supposed to weaken down to a 65 mile per hour tropical storm. And then once it's near Waycross, it can be about a 50 mile per hour tropical storm, then continued to maintain a 50 mile per hour tropical storm. So this did go up a little bit, but the actual initial strength of Debby did go down. But then this is supposed to strengthen to a 60 mile per hour tropical storm, as it then makes a secondary landfall in portions of South Carolina. So next up is the ERO. So this is today's rainfall outlook. There's a moderate risk of flash flooding potential, which is at least a 40% chance of flash flooding, and this does include Gainesville, Florida, and Tampa, Florida. And this goes all the way up almost to Tallahassee, but this does not include Tallahassee. And then there's a large slight risk surrounding that as well. But next is the day 2 flash flooding risk. We have a large, high risk of flash flooding that almost includes Gainesville, but this does not include Gainesville, but this does include Valdosta, Georgia, Waycross, Georgia, Fitzgerald, Georgia, Idalia, Georgia, Hinesville, Georgia, Statesboro, Georgia, and Brunswick, Georgia. And this does not include, well, it does include Savannah actually, but just barely. And then for the day 3 flooding risk, we have a high risk once again that does go from Waycross up to Vidalia. That does include Savannah, but this goes all the way up to Charleston and almost Myrtle Beach. And then there's a large moderate risk surrounding that as well. And then the day 4 risk, there's a moderate risk of flash flooding that does include Charleston, South Carolina. And then for day 5, there's a large slight risk that extends all the way from Savannah, Georgia, all the way up into portions of Maine. So yeah, big time flooding risk in the southeast, as we're just gonna have multiple days of flash flooding. So definitely have a big risk of flash flooding. But next thing that we have a big risk of as well are tornadoes. So we have a slight risk that it sends all the way from Orlando, Florida, up to Savannah, Georgia, and this does go to Charleston, South Carolina, and this also is including Myrtle Beach. And we have a 5% tornado risk inside of that, with a 2% tornado risk surrounding that. And then our 5% wind risk and 5% hail risk we do not have for that area as well. There's another slight risk up here. Could have some tornadoes, some damaging winds, and some hail. But not going to speak on that too much. But we do have a tornado watch currently, and this has a 50% chance for 2 or more tornadoes, and then a 20% chance for 1 or more strong tornadoes, which is EF2 to EF5. Next up is the day 2 severe weather risk. We have a marginal risk that does include Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia, and there is a 2% tornado risk inside of that as well. But we do not have any other risks for that risk area. And then last is the day 3 severe weather risk. We have a little baby marginal risk that does include Wilmington, North Carolina, but this does not include Charleston. But Charleston, I would still watch out for possibly that chance for a spin up. But as of now, just a 5% risk of severe weather, but that will be for that 2% tornado risk. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. And also, I do want to mention, we may have a live stream on the Georgia Storm Trackers YouTube channel or on the Southeast Weather YouTube channel, or we might just have it on both. So I will have that live stream linked in the community tab if we do do a live stream. So yeah, with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Stay safe.